With the introduction of the Packaging and Packaging Waste Directive about 20 years ago, EUROPEN was set up to present the balanced views of the packaging supply chain on topics related to packaging and the environment.
The Packaging Directive has proved to be a useful and a successful tool in increasing recovery and recycling, and has succeeded in relative decoupling of packaging waste from economic growth. The one specific policy objective of the directive was to facilitate the free movement of packaged goods in Europe. Its internal market legal base proved invaluable in safeguarding that policy objective, and it remains just as relevant today.
A separate EU regulatory approach is essential in order to address packaging-specific requirements in terms of volume, consumer visibility, recycling value, and market structure. EUROPEN welcomes the current EU waste legislation review, and in particular the review of the Packaging and Packaging Waste Directive, which we still consider the appropriate and effective framework to drive and accelerate efforts towards greater resource efficiency for packaging and packaging waste. The packaging targets should therefore not be subsumed in the broader Waste Framework Directive.
Going forward, I'd like to see realistic targets. When I say realistic, I mean realistic in terms of the environmental benefits that will accrue, and realistic in terms of whether they're achievable or not within a particular time frame. And I think that by necessity means that we're probably going to need tailored targets for individual member states as we go forward.
The priority should be to optimize rather than maximize recycling. We also support the focus to collect more household packaging waste for recycling or recovery. EUROPEN therefore suggests specific requirements in the Packaging and Packaging Waste Directive to boost post-consumer packaging collection.
We need the collaboration and a close collaboration with government and local authorities to make sure that that packaging is being collected from millions of people's homes and brought and delivered to the right place where it can be recycled. That is the most critical bit, and that's where we absolutely need collaboration between consumers, putting the package in the correct bin, having municipalities with whom we can work to set up collection and sorting, and then we can make sure that the packaging that has been collected and sorted can be recycled into new products.
EPR schemes are considered a key tool for the obliged industry to help achieve packaging, recycling and recovery targets. They incorporate industry's part of their responsibility, which is the end-of-life management of the packaging that companies put on the market. However, there is currently no legal framework that ensures a level playing field for the operation of competing EPR schemes. Therefore, some corrective legal measures are needed in the Packaging and Packaging Waste Directive, such as a harmonized definition of EPR, minimum requirements for EPR schemes that ensure transparency and effectiveness, along with clearly assigned roles and responsibilities for member states and economic operators. Now, these measures should lead to more transparency, traceability, cost effectiveness, and hence a better performance of EPR schemes, which will drive national recycling and recovery rates. EUROPEN also supports the full implementation and enforcement of EU waste legislation in all member states. This will, among others, help close the existing gaps between member states. We also support harmonization of certain definitions in the Waste Framework Directive and the Packaging and Packaging Waste Directive, and to harmonize the reporting and the calculation of recycling and recovery in the member states.
I think the role of industry in contributing to resource efficiency is very much about doing more with less. So we're all, as companies and European members, investing in trying to reduce our impacts on the environment. We're contributing to recycling targets, we're investing in encouraging working with extended producer responsibility schemes. So it's very much a direction that industry is taking in its own natural path.
EUROPEN members remain committed to improve the environmental performances of their packaging and packaged products throughout the life cycle, starting from sourcing, production, distribution, retail, the consumer phase to the end-of-life phase. Let us keep in mind that packaging needs to be fit for purpose for all those stages. Packaging helps reduce product and food waste, protects resources across the value chain, brings food and products in a safe manner to the consumer, and is increasingly resource efficient in its end-of-life phase. So for our industry to continue on this resource efficiency path, it will be important that the EU continues to recognize and enable the positive value of packaging to society and its positive contribution towards resource efficiency, and this through transparent, effective, and proportionate legislation for packaging and packaging waste. This will create more opportunities for businesses to grow, innovate, and create more jobs thanks to their environmental commitments and sustainable practices.